The Google Gang Podcast.
I haven't it was Paul Smith, comedian Paul Smith.
Okay,
actually,
I've heard of him.
Who said to to have a look, have a style, and what I'm sort of going for, because my act is very sort of world weary.
Okay.
So I'm going for a sort of just finished work look.
Okay.
So I always pop the top two buttons, have the tie hung down, like I'm generally not arsed. And then,
so it is a conscious decision, it's almost an outfit.
Yeah, it's a uniform. Like I put it on, and funnily enough, I always find I don't perform as well if I've not got the tie on.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I always perform. Have you seen the necklace that I wear when I perform?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always perform in that necklace, but I've done a few gigs without it recently, and I haven't missed it. But I do like it when it's on.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think. I think it might be a bit of confirmation bias anyway. That I'm just thinking that. Like when I don't have the tie on, I don't perform as well. But it is. It's one of them things. It's like if you're the kid, because I roll my sleeves up as well, don't I?
Yeah.
I finish work, so I pop the sleeves.
You have a cow tattoo.
I do have a cow tattoo. We'll have to talk about that later, I guess, if you're interested.
I am interested.
Imagine. While we're on the subject, you don't want to be, when it comes to uniforms and stuff. If you're doing sports, playing rugby, football, whatever, you don't want to be the kid who hasn't got the same shirt as everyone else because you're number 12 on the football team or number 16 on the rugby team or whatever, so you're the one that doesn't get the shirt from the bag.
Yeah.
So you've got last season's shirt on or something like that, and then even the opposition are watching and they all know, so there's the kid that didn't quite make the grade because he's wearing a different shirt.
I'm just checking out the tattoos on your arms.
So anyway, that's the reason why I think wearing the tie, it just puts you in the zone, doesn't it? Makes you confident, because the opposite is true. If you're on the team and you're one of the ones that gets the shirt out of the bag,
Yeah.
You walk out onto the pitch feeling good. So
is this a real experience that you had?
Yeah, because I've been on both sides of it. Because actually, as a kid, I would play football, and I wasn't that good, to be honest. I was the kid with the bag out of the shirt that wasn't the right shirt, and then I switched to rugby and did all right.
Yeah.
So
you were never good at football.
No, not really. But I came from a football family, you see. Despite being from the southwest, which is where they grow rugby players.
Yeah.
I was from a football family, so it was always play football.
Is this Bristol area?
Yeah, Bristol area. The Western-super-Mare specifically is where I grew up, born in Bristol, and yeah, so I switched to rugby, and now I play rugby. I was playing yesterday, in fact. I'm covered in injuries.
Yeah, what's the cut below your eye?
Yeah, that is actually it is rugby related. It's a URI, an unidentified rugby injury. You don't know when these things happen. It's just at some point during the game I was like, oh, I'm bleeding. It's just a rugby thing. But actually a chunk of skin was removed and was sort of hanging down, and then it was last night. I was like, what is that? And enough skin had been removed that I couldn't actually get the ragged chunk of flesh that was still hanging from my face. I couldn't actually remove it because it was that much skin. I had to cut it off.
Oh.
So that's why there's a small
I
hole
thought
in
you'd
my
been in
face.
a fight last night. I know you like boxing, but I mean Tyson Fury, it was a draw.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in that. No, this was a rugby match, so I picked up a few scrapes and stuff. But yes, I've forgotten where we were at now. Yeah.
Talking about life, mate. Let's talk about the cow tattoo, because that's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Let's go through all the tattoos, starting with the cow.
We can go through them all, although the cow probably carries the most significance. Interestingly,
it's a nice looking cow.
It's a very well done tattoo. I paid quite a lot for it. It was done at a convention by a Polish fella. In fact, nobody English has done any of my tattoos, just by chance.
Really?
They're all Eastern Europeans in some way, or This was a Polish guy. This was a different Polish guy. Ukrainian did my upper arm. A Slovakian did this one. So I don't know.
You hate English tattoo artists.
Not deliberately.
Dean Cotlin is your worst enemy.
Yeah. Like, get away from me with those needles. Because I'm super English, so I should have. I'm surprised I don't have a Union Jack on me somewhere, but then, fortunately, you can't get away with those, can you?
No.
But yeah, so the cow. So my grandfather was a dairy farmer.
Okay.
And it's less like when I say that, people think, oh, me, it's a tribute to him, to my grandfather. It's not really. It's more that, like, if you're a kid, if you're sort of 7, 8, 9 years old,
yeah,
and you go to a farm, and it's amazing. It is like the best place. And of course, my mother would just like say, off you go, have at it. All these old rusty bits of farm machinery, like climbing over them, like old, like upturned plough blades, like inches from your face. Like everything's just full of tetanus and Weil's disease, and it's just amazing. Big jumping off giant, piles of straw, or just just the whole atmosphere of the place.
Just being on a farm.
Yeah, and what always got me is that I have a strange fascination with like derelict things.
Okay.
Like things that are dilapidated or old, or like used to have a use that has been sort of lost to time.
Yeah. And
they never throw anything away on a farm.
Yeah. So
it was all still there. I just find it absolutely fascinating. So basically, the cow tattoo is just almost like a memory of the sort of best times
on the farm.
When I was a kid.
That's so cool. I like that.
So that's what that's about. And none of the other ones carry as much significance, because the on my upper arm here, which you're not going to be able to see that well, is a dragon, a sort of European style dragon, and that's just because as a kid I was just went into dragons. And I didn't have the tattoo until I was like 25, and wasn't that into dragons anymore. But it was just sort of a memory of like what I liked as a child. Yeah. What I was into. And then the other ones, the fish, it's a Siamese fighting fish. I just like them. Yeah. And I have you had one? Yeah, several over the years. I don't have a fish tank at the moment, or I have one that doesn't have water in it. Yeah. So the fish are unhappy. The fish are struggling to survive. The fish are struggling in that tank at the moment. There's waterless fish. There's no water in it. But they're evolving. And there's a cat on this side who is actually a character from a Discworld novel, which is Terry Pratchett. Because I'm a massive fan of the Terry Pratchett novels. I've read them all like 5 times or more. I'm a bit of a fanboy. So that's Grebo the cat from those books. And then on the outside here is the Kraken. For the rum? No, actually. It is just, again, because of a fascination with the sea, with sea life, but also like the idea of how massive things can get in the sea, or how massive the sea is in general. Yeah. And a sort of the thing that I'm sort of vaguely scared of. I'm vaguely scared of like octopus's tentacles, things like that. So I sort of put it on there. It's almost like a conquer your fear. Yeah. You look at it and it's like I can handle that. Yeah, like a defiance of it or something. I've got my kids' names on my chest there. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Although I have 3 kids and only have 2 of them on my chest, because now I've got a problem. Yeah. This is something you can't really plan ahead that much when you get your tattoos. And I've got the 2 of them there, and it's quite well balanced and things. But if I just got a 3rd name just written underneath, it would then look a bit silly, just having the sort of 3 words in a little stack there. So I'm thinking maybe I have to include her name and get like a whole piece done across your chest. Yeah. But if you've ever been tattooed on the chest, yeah, it wrecks. It's not very pleasant. It is like the worst. I've never been tattooed, so I don't know. I would rather get tattooed all day on my arms than have like 1 hour on my chest. It really? Absolutely wrecks. It is, almost unbearable. Yeah. Whereas on your arms, the bit that hurts sort of round your elbow, the old bingo wing.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, that stings. But yeah, otherwise, like forearms and stuff, that's nothing.
That's easy.
I mean, it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
It hurts, but you can tough it out.
I'm so fascinated by the idea of tattoos because I have no desire to get any tattoos about anything. Like, I'm so intrigued by the idea of it. But
Yeah, I don't know really. It's like, and I was a bit. I waited till later in life, which is I would always recommend. Like, I didn't get my first tattoo until I was in my sort of mid-20s.
yeah.
And I think that's the best way to make sure you're not going to get one that you regret.
So that's the most common thing, isn't it? Is people trying to cover things up.
Yeah, and obviously never get the name of a partner, right? That is the work of an utter retard.
So, can I tell you a story?
Yeah, do it.
So my girlfriend this week had a moment of individuality, and she goes, just messages me, I'm going to get a tattoo, BRB, like be right back, just like, not can I get a tattoo, not ever. I don't need her to ask me for permission, but it was just like, I'm getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. I was like, right. I was like, what are you getting? And she goes, our names in a love heart. And my heart just like sank. I was like, as much as I love this girl, I was like, has she gone mad? Like, what are you doing? Like, and I just messaged back. I was like, no, you're not. And then she was like, nah, I'm not. I'm getting like this character from the film Gremlins. You know, the little Mogwai, like little gremlin character. And
Yeah,
it's like
Gizmo.
Gizmo, yeah.
Gizmo the Mogwai.
It's one of her favourite films, and she's a film student, so it holds a lot of like weight to her.
Yeah.
And then she's obviously going to go and teach film. That's the plan. So, you know, it's a significant tattoo for her. But I thought about it. I was like, what would I do if someone got my name tattooed on them? Like, what do you even say? Like,
Yeah. I don't know how you'd respond to that, because like you never know which way your life's going to go.
No.
Like right now, I've been with my current partner for like 20 years, married for 11 of them, and you'd think at that point you can be pretty, could be pretty confident to get the name tattooed on, but I still wouldn't do that because you don't know how things are going to go. I've got my kids' names tattooed on because come what may,
yeah, they're always going to be your children.
I mean, biologically, there's no escaping that.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you get something tattooed on, like the Mogwai or whatever, if it's something that has that significance to you, it always will. Like, even if you go off the movie or go off the character or lose a direct connection, it will at least be a connection to your past. It will be a memory of the time when you did like that.
Yeah. Same with you with the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've deliberately got something that I am not massively into, but was as a child, and that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Nothing that happens in the rest of my life will change the fact that as a 12-year-old boy, I used to spend all my time drawing dragons.
Yeah. Do you like drawing? Is that why you like tattoos? Like, were you good at drawing?
Yeah. Well, I teach art to make money.
Right.
On the side, because comedy don't pay.
No.
So, yeah, although I'm not, never been one of those people that are like, I must draw, I have to draw.
Yeah.
But it was something that I was always good at. So.
Do you teach art at a school, or?
Yeah, I teach kids who have been excluded from other schools.
Okay.
Usually more than one.
Okay.
So they're troublesome.
Okay.
And some of them like it. Fun. People think actually that sort of teaching art would be one of the easier things to teach because it's fun, right? It's art. But it isn't. I mean,
you're gonna spill the beans on art teachers.
Well, children have the same like dislike of drawing or whatever as some adults will have. It's fear. People are terrified of it. Actually,
yeah.
If someone can't draw, like some people, you could put a pencil in their hand and virtually a gun to their head and say draw a picture, and they'll say no, I can't, I won't.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Like,
just not being good.
What? Yeah. And who cares?
Yeah.
If you're not good. But what's the worst that could happen? When I draw a picture of that apple, what's the worst that could happen? It doesn't look like an apple.
It is scary. I'm
cares?
scared to draw because I know that I'm not good at drawing and I don't have the patience or the creative juices, the hand-eye coordination to be good at drawing. But I still would have a go at drawing. I just don't enjoy it. I wouldn't spend my pastimes trying to draw. What I do like is colouring in. Now, that sounds really stupid as a 23-year-old bloke, but I did win a colouring in competition as a child, and apparently adult colouring in books is like a new thing that's coming back, and I quite enjoy colouring in because I can draw within the lines, but someone else has drawn the picture.
Yeah, and one of the things is, right, that when would you say the camera was invented? I mean, the original camera was probably invented in 1800s. We're talking.
Okay.
Late 1800s. They
you would probably know, being the art teacher, when the camera was.
Okay, then it was the late 1800s.
Beautiful.
And I'm just trying to make it interactive. And
you're asking a guy that doesn't even own a camera.
Yeah. When was it invented? Come on, it's becoming a quiz. But they became ubiquitous. It's a big word, like it. Sort of going into, I guess 1950s, 1960s, people have all got cameras.
Yeah.
But you could argue, and I would argue, that since the invention of the camera, the ability to do an accurate drawing of an object
has become more valuable.
The opposite. Less value. It has become pointless. Now that doesn't, because...
Don't you think it's more like awe-inspiring if someone draws something? Like sometimes you see a drawing and you go, it looks exactly like a photo.
Yes, and what we're talking about then is your definition of value, right? Mm. So as a skill, a skill that is required to progress humanity in terms of building, construction, design, and all the rest of it.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
Drawing accurate copies of objects is no longer required because we have cameras. Right? And I say this to my students. I'll put something in front of them that they're going to draw, right? Like this glass of water. And I say, we're going to do this glass of water. And they'll say, no, I can't. And I'll say, do you have a pencil? Yes. Is there anything wrong with your hands? No. I notice you have 2 arms and, as far as I can tell, 10 fingers. So when you say you can't draw, what do you actually mean?
Yeah.
And what they mean is, as we've already discussed, that they cannot do an accurate copy.
Yeah.
But as I've just said, the ability to do an accurate copy
doesn't mean anything.
Is impressive but irrelevant.
Yeah. So why not just have a go?
So have a go, and what you're going to create is something that doesn't look like a glass of water, but nonetheless might be attractive. It might be useful in its own way, because what you do when you draw something and don't do an accurate copy is you do actually legitimately create something new, which drawing an exact copy doesn't do.
Yes.
It doesn't create something new. It creates a very laborious, although impressive, method of taking a photograph.
Yeah.
Whereas if you draw it differently, if it's a different exploration of shape and form and everything, then you've created something new and you have advanced humankind in some way.
And that's unique because it's its own entity, it's its own product. It doesn't look like what it was trying to be.
It's something the universe has never seen before. It is unique in all of time and space.
That's such a weird way of looking at art. How do kids respond when you speak like this?
I teach excluded kids, so they tell me to fuck off.
They're also fucking scousers as well.
Yeah, they are.
They're probably down the back fucking sharpening paintbrushes being like, Mr. Berry's gonna fucking get it today.
Chat shit, you lie.
Chat shit. How do they respond to your accent? Because you obviously haven't got a Scouse accent.
You'd be surprised how many of them think I'm Australian, actually.
Really?
Yeah, don't know what that's about.
You don't sound Australian.
I do not. But that's the thing. I don't have an accent because I'm from like a satellite town. So my accent is relatively neutral. I think somebody who really knew about accents could probably place it. And if I'm not paying attention, sometimes the West Country comes out. Sometimes the Bristol comes out. Like if I'm saying numbers, sometimes, particularly the number 4, sometimes I'll say 4.
4.
like 4. It's all about West Country accent's all about pronouncing your R's.
Okay.
Putting a lot of emphasis on your R's and your vowels and things. But also, like, if I'm not paying attention and I'm asking for half of something, I will ask for half of something. Half. Just cut it in half.
Which sounds like out of place, because when they say it, the rest of their words line up with that pronunciation, but you're just out of the blue, like a little little pop pronunciation.
I'll be like, you know, and the kids will love that. I say to the kids, all you got to do is cut it in half. Like, half? What's half? I'm like, cut it in half. God, how do you guys say it? But yeah, every now and again it comes out. But there are a few things, because I live in Merseyside now, but I didn't grow up there. So there are a few expressions that I have where I'm from that they didn't understand, and the other way around. Things like, I could test you on some of these now. Gigs. What are gigs in Merseyside?
Shoes?
No, glasses.
Okay.
What are webs?
Shoes.
Okay.
I'll just keep saying shoes for all of them.
Trains.
Webs and gigs.
Yeah. There's also like, they have a habit of ending written correspondence, email, text message or letter, with kisses.
Yeah.
Even if that's not the kind of relationship you're in.
It was like 2 blokes.
Yeah, so when I first joined my rugby team, in fact, the captain of the team sent me the message to say that I was playing on Saturday. It said you've been selected for the team on Saturday, everything from Macca. Kiss, kiss. And I was as far as I'm concerned.
How well did you know him?
You know, like that, not well enough to be kissing him. That's the thing. That really caught me by surprise. But then they get some from me. So I was looking at a church spire, and I said to them, "That looks to me like it's on the piss." Now, would you know what I meant?
On the drink.
Yeah, but it's not. You see, when I said something like that, like that's on the piss. Well, it could also mean they're drinking. If a person is on the piss, it means they're drinking. But if an object or a building or something is on the piss,
it's not taking the piss.
No, it means it's not straight.
Okay.
All it means is it's not straight. So this church spire was leaning over to one side. So in Bristol, you would say, yeah, it was on the piss.
Okay.
If it's wonky, it's on the piss, right? The other ones. So if you got on a bus in Bristol and you said, "Where's this bus to?" the driver would look at you and say, "Well, it's here, mate."
Well, where's this going?
Because in Bristol West Country, where something is to is where it currently is. So if I said, "Where's where's that chair to?" you'd say it's over there. You know, where's your brother to? You'd be like, "Oh, he's down the road."
So how do you ask where the bus's destination is?
You would just say, "Where does it go?"
Okay, where does it go?
If you said, "Where was it to?" the
so
driver
you don't put 2 on the end.
Yeah, the driver would look at you like it's right here.
It's here. You're on the bus.
Yeah, you're on the. Where's this bus to? You're standing on it, you dickhead. You come across with stuff like that.
Interesting. So why did you relocate up to Merseyside?
Why do men do anything?
Women.
Yeah.
I had to think about it there for a second. It's quite obvious.
You're like, sports?
Yeah. Rugby?
Yeah. No, it was my my girlfriend at the time, shortly thereafter fiance, now wife. Mm-hmm. So that worked out.
That's good. That's always a win.
Yeah. 3 kids now. Little parasites that they are. Little disease. That's one of the things when you have kids, you're inviting disease vectors into your house. That's what they are. Little disease vectors. Because they go off to their nursery and then their schools and stuff, and they pick up every bug and disease from the area.
They've got weak immune systems.
Yeah, and just bring it back into your house. So I have had more coughs and colds and sniffles and stomach bugs since I've had kids than my entire life prior.
Even when you were a kid?
Yeah, even when I was a kid. The thing is, I was one of those kids that my parents just let me play outside. There was a dirty lane behind our house where some of the potholes had like filled up with water and diesel.
Yeah.
And we used to like go in them and create little boats and just splash around in these filthy puddles, you know, and all the rest of it. And all of that, we used to spend all our time just like covered in like filth.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, I became like virtually immortal.
Yeah.
As long as I stayed in the vague environs that I grew up in.
But as soon as you step outside that and have kids from outside getting in contact with your kids and coming home with all these new diseases,
that I haven't known,
gasoline related.
Yeah. That don't come from, you know, getting
ethanol poisoning,
getting covered in, you know, lead and mercury.
So I wanted to talk to you because I'm interested in this, and I love having dads on the podcast, right? Because I find the idea of fatherhood quite fascinating. So talk to me about your growing up relationship with your dad, what it was like growing up, and then how you've sort of changed that to your relationship with your kids. Have you just modelled the exact same as what happened to you to your kids, or have you changed things and be like, I'm not going to do that?
It's a bit like that because. The things that I learned from my own dad was stuff like a strong work ethic and desire to sort of go out and earn things for yourself, and you know to have some sort of integrity and honor in things. But the main reason for that was because he spent most of his life working.
Yeah.
So in terms of like I probably spent less actual like time, like person to person time, man to man time with my dad.
Yeah.
Than probably would have been ideal for me. So that's what I'm going to try and do better. But also there are sort of things you learn from it. But I think some people I know, my wife will say that, you know, if she raises her kids exactly the same as her parents did, that'd be fine, and I think she's probably right. But you know, I had all, you know, my childhood was messy. You know, my parents ultimately were divorced. Lived mostly with a stepmother because my father worked a lot, and for that reason, like I just like it to be less messy than mine was.
Yeah,
you know, and there were issues because my parents sort of split up when I was around about 8 years old. They were a bit younger than that, actually, probably sort of 7 years old. And for the next year, maybe up to 18 months, I bounced around sort of different schools, living in different places. Ultimately arrived back at the school I'd originally left before they broke up, and had to basically be taught to read again.
Right. Because
I didn't know how to read at the age of about 8 years old. I couldn't read because I've not really had an education for 18 months. Picked it up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, trying to avoid the messiness of it would help, you know, fatherhood wise. And you do worry. I mean, it plays on your mind that you think about the mistakes your parents made and you try not to make them. But the fact is that your kids are going to end up fucked up. Because everybody is. Everybody's fucked up by their parents.
That's so interesting because the people who feel like they're doing everything for their kids in the perfect lifestyle, they cotton all their kids, they don't let them stay up after 8 o'clock, they don't give them sugar, they feed them these very strict diets, they say you can hang out with this family but not with this family. You try and cotton wool them. There's one day where you can't do that anymore, and that's the day it all just shoots. Like, that kid's just going to go exploring. Because it's human nature. You want to know what the other side is. You want to learn what's good and bad. And it's just going to happen either way.
Like, it can be hard to let your own children sort of head out to the world and potentially have bad experiences. They will have bad experiences. And you want to protect them from that. And you need to resist the urge because otherwise you end up a helicopter and you're always hanging around them and they don't.
And it's exhausting for you as it is for them. Like,
yeah, and you're not. I don't think you're really doing them any good, are you?
No.
Doing that, so you have to let them out. But I do remember because I don't see myself as someone who like feels things very deeply. I'm not like a feeling person. Yeah, I'm a bit of a robot.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. I don't.
You're a very manly man.
Yeah. Probably in a bad way, but yeah, I try and be. Yeah. I am one of those blokes who's like blokey bloke.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't catch me moisturising.
No.
Like I have a chainsaw for no good reason.
You don't even have any trees where you live.
Yeah.
You live in an apartment with a chainsaw.
Like, there are a few like old yuckers and that. But I have a chainsaw because
Fuck
man,
I should
I'm a man. I was taking the dashboard off the wife's car earlier. To try and fix something. She said, "I'll just take it to the garage." I'm like, "No, man."
Darling, I will fix this.
Man fix car. Surrounded by loads of bolts. Like when I've already put it back together. Like, shit. Me rattling like one of the baby's toys. Just all of these bolts. If anything shakes loose, let me know. It'll be one of these bolts. But no, man. So yeah, lost my thread again. But yeah, the idea. So I don't sort of feel these things. But one thing that still sticks out that I had a strong emotional reaction to is when my oldest had gone to school for the first time. She'd been there a few weeks, and then she came home and told me a story of when she'd been in the toilet, and she was sat going to the toilet, and there were some girls outside, or some who were talking sort of to her, and it scared her a bit.
Okay.
You got to remember, up until that point, she had basically never been like to the toilet without
being at home.
Yeah, without somebody with her.
Yeah.
And up until that point, she was my child, my baby. She was the thing that I was looking after.
Yeah.
And here she was, and I'm creating this picture in my mind that she is sat alone in this toilet cubicle, having to deal with these people talking. And I'm like, where am I?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I there?
You're at home. You're living your life.
I'm at work.
Yeah.
And that like threw me for a bit of a loop for a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, a real, because it was unexpected. Like I didn't expect to feel like that.
Yeah.
About something like that. And it's, you don't, even when you send them to school, you think, yes, they're going to school, but it's almost like you ignore the time they're at school. It's just, they're being looked after, they're at school, they come back, and then it's my job again. And you don't really take on board that when they're at school, they're actually largely on their own, and they're now largely navigating the world on their own. And yeah, that affected me a bit.
So how old was she? She was 5 at this point?
Yeah, she was basically 5.
Okay, right. Because that can be quite intimidating. Like, I even know now when I'm like on the toilet at work, I'm just chilling out there by myself, and then I hear someone else come in. I'm like, who's that? Do I know who they are? Maybe they know it's me that's in here. Maybe they can smell what I'm fucking dropping down here. Like,
but you know what it is. You've then got an issue, because if they're just using the urinal or whatever, I'll just sit and wait this out.
Yeah.
But if they also are having a sit down in the cubicle next to you, now you've got an issue. Like, and they're probably having the same thoughts as you, because they know someone's in there. So right, okay, how's this going to work? Do I sort of?
Do I wrap up now before they can get into it?
Do I attempt to get up and leave before they do?
Yeah.
But then, there's a chance that they might open the door and I'm walking out and they'll know that it was me and the one next door. Like, as if everybody doesn't poop. You know what I mean? And or I can stay in here and I can outlast both my shit and theirs.
I've done that. I've done a double on that, right? So this is turned into shit stories with Kevin Berry, right? So I was in the toilet at work, right, and I was feeling ill. Like, those ones where you feel ill and you're like, I've got to go. So I'm sitting there and it was taking a bit of a while, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling sweet relief. Like, this is amazing. I'm finally letting it go. Someone comes in and I'm like, oh heavens, I can't leave. And I was like, hopefully they're like a quick in and out. Anyway, I hear it all kicking off next to me, like, grunting, everything. And I'm like, it seems like they're going for, a quick bomb drop, and then we're away. Anyway, I hear the toilet paper start ringing, and I was like, right, they're going to be out, and then I can finish up. And as they're walking out, someone else walks in, and I was like, no, I'm going to have to wait again. So then they have a chat in between, and obviously the toilet cubicle stinks because he's just dropped. I've been dropping for a while, and then the next bloke walks in, and he starts going, and I'm like, oh no. And he was a bit of a longer one, and I was like, I'm playing the waiting game. So I start to sort of play the game, start grabbing the toilet paper, doing my business, and then he starts grabbing the toilet paper. I was like, we can't walk out at the same time. One of us is going to have to stop. So I was like, can I beat him? So I start like quickening it up. Then I hear his door unlocking as I'm like pulling up. So I just stood in there with my pants on and waited for him to leave.
You just stood up in the toilet and everything, just like ear pressed to the door, like, is he gone?
Wait for him to go.
And then they started the hand dryer, like, I'm not going to know if he leaves. You've got to wait for the hand dryer to finish its cycle as well.
I'm 23 years old.
I know, but I'm exactly the same. Like, you got to, and some people either don't know this sort of etiquette, or like are somehow more mature than us.
Yeah.
But
I think that's very mature. To wait in the cubicle with your pants on for someone to leave.
And like, they come in and like, if he sat down and done his business and not realised that there's a person in the cubicle next to him that's going to have a timing issue, like, if he's like starting with his paper and get a move on, or if you hear the paper going next door, you wait your turn, mate.
Yeah.
It's not your turn to leave the cubicle, is it? If the guy next to you's papering up.
We need to enforce this shit etiquette. This is what needs to happen.
It's like if the guy next to you is papering up, right, then you wait.
You wait.
Like, you've missed your chance.
Yeah.
You have to wait for that person to leave. But there's all sorts of etiquette like that, because if you work in an office building, or like I do at school, and sometimes you'll have quite a long corridor, and there might be 3, 4, or 5 sets of like double fire doors, breaking that up. So, and if there's someone walking with you, a colleague that maybe you don't know them that well, but what will happen is you will open the door for them, because that's what you do. And they will walk through, but it turns out you're both walking down this corridor going the same way. So when you arrive at the next set of doors, they're now in front, so they've opened the door for you.
Yeah.
Right? Bit of a switch. You might be like, oh, thank you. Bit of a switch there. Now you're approaching a third set of doors, and now you're the one that's in front, right? Now, if you then go to the next set of doors and open the door for them, this has become awkward now. Right, you're now in some social awkwardness, because this dance of the doors, right, has taken over. So what happens? You might get as far as the third set of doors, or what more happens than that is that
you hop inside a child's locker and hide.
Yeah, basically, I'll suddenly find something really interesting on a notice board, but the problem is, like, I'll have the same. But if the person who's walking with me is as socially aware, stroke socially awkward as I am,
they'll stop as well.
And then
it's a stalemate. It's stop for longer.
And we're both looking at the same notice board, and there's only one poster on it.
And then you turn and go, have you seen this?
Have you seen this? Like, you don't know them well enough to even strike up a chat. You were just doing the door dance for a minute. And now what are you going to do? How are you going to break this cycle? I haven't turned the other way. And then if you decide, like, right, I've had enough of this, I'm going to turn back and go the other way.
Yeah.
You can't just turn around and go the other way. You've got to look at your watch first.
Yeah, like you're late for something.
Like you've got somewhere else to be, or another appointment, or you'll check something in your pocket. And go, you might even do a little mime of your, I forgot, something.
What a fool!
And you'll turn around and go back, because if you just turned around and went back with no little performance, then they'd know that that either you've gone completely the wrong way anyway, which made you look like an idiot, or that you are as aware of the door dance as they are. Because I don't know what this thing is about social awkwardness, that even when the two people involved
are
both very aware of the social awkwardness.
Still awkward.
Yeah. Well, the most awkward thing would be to acknowledge the awkwardness.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm glad.
Do you feel like anyone else is living inside this thing that we're living in? Because right now this is very insular. Like no. I
don't know, but I'm glad you're an immigrant, because I thought this might have been a peculiarly English thing, but it turns out it crosses continents, so that's good.
I just love the sentence, I'm glad you're an immigrant. It's always not.
Because you
I don't hear that very often.
This is obviously part of the human condition, not just part of being like.
It's not just British.
Yeah, it's not just an English thing.
Can you explain to me why, famously, English people like waiting in queues? Do you understand why that is?
I think it's. I reckon, for what it's worth, that it's pride ultimately, because one of the things that, like, we have the British have a reputation for being socially aware and a little bit of sort of apologetic and just generally the very highest order of politeness generally as a species. And I think that the queue is the sort of physical manifestation of just how like in charge of etiquette and our own emotions that we are. And that's it. If there's a queue, and it's running smoothly,
you have to respect it.
But everybody in the queue, as annoyed they might be about queuing or as bored they might be in the queue, like deep down, if they're a proper, full-blooded British man or woman, deep down inside there's a little bit of them saying, but this is how it should be.
Yeah. Is it also the same thing as like I'm a part of something?
Yeah, like
a gang. Or like I feel like when I'm driving on the motorway and I sort of see this person here and this person here and we're all sort of driving as a gang and no one's overtaking, we're all just there and I'm like, I feel safe in this. Like I know what he's doing, he's driving safe, everyone around me's all right, and you're just sort of there and there's no need to hurry, you're just in that zone.
I am, and I'm so fond of the queue. There are a few examples of where queuing etiquette has been ignored by people that sort of gets on my nerves, sometimes justifiably and sometimes.
Do you call them out?
Non-justifiably.
English people don't like confrontation.
No, absolutely not. I will absolutely not call anyone out on it ever.
If someone jumped a queue, you wouldn't say
it would take a massive breach of queue etiquette for someone to actually speak up, and it does happen. Like a massive breach, like somebody going right to the front or something like that.
Yeah,
that happens. Otherwise, if you cut like a few people in front or whatever, then you'll get a tut or a look. Yeah. But like even like talking about on the motorway, and you're driving along, and maybe you're in the inside lane, but the slow lane is going at a pace that everyone appears comfortable with. The middle lane is going at a pace everyone feels comfortable with. So is the fast lane. Someone joins the motorway from the slip road and immediately goes into the fast lane.
Yeah.
And I think, like, what arrogance. What utter arrogance.
You have to work your way there.
To believe to believe deep within yourself that whatever speed the motorway is going, I will be the fastest. Like, I don't need to join the motorway and then assess the relative speeds of the three lanes. No, I'm going straight to the fast lane because there is no doubt in my mind that will be the speed I'm going. And I'm just waiting for the day when they like go onto the motorway and say, I reckon I'm going to be doing about 85. That's fast lane. Straight into the fast lane, and they find out, oh no, actually, there's a supercharged lorry who's doing 95. Yeah. And you just get absolutely wiped out. And it said, that'll serve you right for not assessing your proper place.
Do you know what? For me, right, this may be a justification. I like going to the fast lane, not because I like to be fast. However, I feel the safest in the fast lane because I'm driving on this side. The only person that can hit into me is the person going this side, and I can keep an eye on them. There's the hard shoulder. So I feel the safest there, and I also feel like I have the most space so I can get out of trouble.
And see, I'm not a fan of the fast lane.
Okay.
And this is why.
Are you a middle lane?
I try not to be.
Okay. Because I feel like the middle lane is the most dangerous.
It is, but I spend a fair bit of time there, but I really concentrate on not staying middle lane. And I said, but that is where I tend to sort of end up. I rarely sort of drift into the fast lane, and the reason is actually, and this is another very British thing, but when I'm in the fast lane, people can't go round me if they're going faster than me. So they'll create a situation where the utterly horrifying situation where I might be in someone's way. Right? the very idea that someone else might have to slow down a little bit, or might have to because I'm not going fast enough.
Yeah.
That horrifies me.
That horrifies you more than tea with no milk.
At least, yeah, exactly. So at least if I'm in the, it's alright without milk as long as you dump a load of sugar in it. But at least if I'm in the left-hand lane or the middle lane, someone can go round me.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the problem with the fast lane. So I will nip out into the fast lane if I absolutely am doing a reasonable speed and I need to go past a person in the middle lane. But I'll get out of that thing sharpish. Because otherwise, I'll spend more time watching my mirror to make sure nobody's turning up behind than I am watching out the front. And I'll be the one running into the back of someone else.
That's right. And you can never be looking back over your shoulder. Don't be living in the past, Kev.
But there's more to queue etiquette than just joining your place and not cutting in and the rest. There are other problems, right? And this is so I'm at Alton Towers. Famous for its queues.
Yes.
And pretty much nothing else.
Alton Towers is a theme park for Australian listeners, like Movie World or Dream World. Continue.
Yeah. It's a theme park, famous for its queues.
Yes.
Okay, you know when you go there, you're going to be spending a lot of time in queues. And most of the time it's going rather hitched. Now, in front of me are this family who I think, I don't know for sure, but I think they were Swedish.
Okay.
That is a combination of hearing a little bit of the language, which I don't know very well.
Okay.
Sounded kind of Swedish. The blonde hair, the blue eyes. I was stereotyping a bit, but I think they were possibly Swedish.
I only know 6 Swedish people, and they all look the same.
Right. So I'm just going to hit that nail on the head and say it was a Swedish family.
Fuck the Swedes. I prefer Finland. Continue.
Right. So they were in front of me in the queue. Now, during their queuing, they've had occasion to get parts of their picnic out. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a problem. Snacking within the queue is fine, as long as you maintain
the motion of the queue. You've
the
got to be able to
motion of the
keep
queue.
moving. You can't stop down and have your packed lunch.
Exactly. So here's the problem: the queue in front of them advances. Not far, maybe like 5 meters.
Okay.
Right, but that 5 meters, that is a yawning chasm that is just like that is boiling my blood, right? And it's not going to make any difference to how long it takes me to get to the end of the queue and get on the ride.
Yeah, but you see
it won't make any
that
difference.
you're not standing.
We'll walk forward 5 meters and just stop again.
Yeah,
but that's not the point. There is 5 meters of clear daylight between this family and the people who are in front of them, and I'm standing behind the family.
We're directly behind the picnic family.
Yeah, because it presents me with an issue, because them, being Swedish no doubt, probably wouldn't be asked if I actually just overtook them and occupied that space myself. And that's whatever, we're waiting in the queue, we're having snacks now. Yeah. We'll carry on queuing in a minute. But I'm not overtaking someone in a queue.
Yeah, that's against your morals.
What am I, German? I'm not German. I'm not overtaking someone in a queue. Maybe a Frenchman would do that. I'm not overtaking. So basically, I'm standing there. But because this family are causing me to be self-conscious, because I'm self-conscious of whether it is or is not correct etiquette for me to move into that space. Are
you at Alton Towers with your family? Or just by yourself?
Yes, but I'm only just me and the eldest kid, because none of the others are tall enough to go on this ride.
Okay.
But now I'm conscious that, is there someone behind me in the queue who is also looking at that space and thinking that space needs to be occupied? Mm-hmm. So now am I being judged for not occupying this 5 meter blood boil canyon, we'll call it? Right? Am I being judged for that? So, and this is where people think being British is easy. Yeah. Try dealing with that kind of shit. Fucking Swedes. God. Because they're Johnny foreigners, their picnics got. I mean, what's in this picnic?
Prosciutto, feta.
They were eating like raw peas and some kind of fish. That was still like not tuna, not like the fibrous contents of what was once a fish. No, like an actual fish. Like these kids are supping down like head, tail, the works. Just a full-on fish. It's like yum, 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 yum. They're eating this thing like it's fucking Skittles. Just just troughing these little fish like my kids would eat marshmallows. It's like, what is wrong with that?
Well, I wanted to speak to you because when I first experienced your stand-up, you did tell a story. I don't know whether or not you've ever continued to tell a story, and I think it's about a wasp nest that's in your roof. And I remember, I find it very entertaining. So can you please retell that story just for my benefit? Can you remember?
Yeah, I've not crafted it into a set anymore, but
I just like the story.
Basically, there was wasps had moved in to our house, right, up in the eaves of the roof above the bedroom, and one thing wasps do, and ants do this as well apparently, is that when one of them dies, they don't leave them in the nest to like rot away and stuff. That's not. They shove them into what's effectively their graveyard,
right?
Their ant or wasp graveyard, and they've made their graveyard so it opens out into my bedroom, right? So every day, I'm coming home from work to 7, 8, 9, sometimes as many as 15 dead wasps littering the ground, but mercifully not many live wasps, but there was always one or two. Like I felt they were keeping like some morbid vigil because they'd always come out at the same time as well.
Yeah.
But it was always roughly the same time that I would be vacuuming up their dead. So here they are holding some kind of wasp funeral.
Were they ever angry at the sight of the vacuum cleaner?
Well, I think they held their anger and let it out. We had passive aggressive wasps. They let their anger out at other times. I'd be walking around with the vacuum because when I vacuum, I'm like a vacuum cleaner assassin. It's one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
I will walk around with just like the hose attachment and just looking for So these wasps I'm taking out, and these other two wasps are sat on the windowsill just watching me. I'm like, oh, sorry, it's like their Uncle Frank or something. There he goes. There goes Uncle Frank. Sorry about that. Lost all dignity.
But he's now living in the land of Dyson.
I know, right? And what they decided to do was sting me in my sleep.
Okay.
And they didn't pick conventional areas either. So I got stung by a wasp in my sleep on like my second toe in from the little one, whatever you'd call that one. It would be like your ring toe.
Yeah.
If you were a complete weapon of war. Toe ring. What an arsehole. Should be stung on the toe if you're wearing a ring on it. Fucking idiot. But if you think about that, that's your most sensitive toe.
It is a pretty sensitive toe.
It's quite a sensitive toe to be stung on the top.
Because the little toe gets squashed underneath your feet, and
so
then
that's
the big toe's like, the big toe's tough. The other one's a long toe. Those two little toes, 3 and 4, they're the weakest of the bunch.
And so stung right on the top underneath the nail. So I've woken up to this sort of pain in my foot. I've just woken up, and so I've no idea what's going on. Just my foot hurts. I put 2 and 2 together that a wasp stung me for a little bit. Of course, it's one of these ones where the sting gets stuck in, so the little guy's still attached to me toe, flailing about. Did
you kill him?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big killer of small creatures.
Yeah.
Like I tend not to if I can help it, but it was him or me at that point.
Yeah.
So. I've given him the flick basically, but so he's flicked off somewhere and joined the other ranks of his dead on the floor of my bedroom.
Yeah.
But because it was this sort of sensitive area of the toe, normally a wasp sting hurts for what, like an hour or two, and then it gets a bit. This thing wrecked for like 2 days, and
were you still going into work?
Well, yeah, I had to. Oh yeah. I'm not in work today. No, I got stung on the toe. Yeah, that's why I'm not coming. Is it stung on the toe? Yeah, no, stung on the toe. Yeah, on the toe. Yeah, that's why I'm not coming in. Hello? Like, don't bother coming in on Monday. So I've had to. So I've also got stung on the ear during my sleep and everything, and the missus, she's obviously sleeping next to me, so she's been woken up on me going like, one of the wasps stung me again. But she's not asked. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, she's just been woken from her sleep. She's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care that you've been stung by a wasp. It's your fault for hoovering up his granddad. And so I had to call the exterminator out.
Yeah.
This guy comes out from the council.
Question. Did it pain you to call the exterminator because you're a man and usually you should be able to fix these issues on your own?
This was after I'd already made an attempt.
Okay, what was your attempt?
Like my attempt was, so what I did is I got like a weed sprayer thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. No, it was actually my Karcher, my pressure washer. So I got my Karcher pressure washer.
So you have a pressure washer and a chainsaw.
Yeah,
you are a man.
Obviously. And you can get you can add like a little cup that you then put a tube in, so that when you spray with the Karcher, so you can add your car shampoo or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I did is I didn't have any like wasp killer lying around. So what I've done, I've got a can of like Raid, right, and like done like a 5-minute spray of Raid into this cup, try and gather the entire contents of the can into liquid form. So I've got about an inch of Raid in the bottom of this cup. Right? Got about an inch of Raid in the bottom of this cup. And then I put that.
This is so shit. What the fuck did you think that's going to happen? As soon as the water hits it, it's gone, man.
That's what I did. So I put a little tube into it. And then I basically blasted up the eaves of the house and over all the windows.
This is
and everything.
inside or outside?
This is outside.
Okay.
With it all trying to get up into, but I didn't want to get it like right up under the eaves because there's obviously spaces there because that's how the wasps are getting out.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to completely soak the place. So I've just done a few quick blasts of this like heavily diluted Raid up into the eaves.
I don't even think if you sprayed the Raid directly, it would have had much impact.
I was like, yeah, that'll see you right. I was like, normally a man's solution to the old wasp nest is just to throw a match on it, but
yeah,
I'm not doing that.
It's
inside my house. I'm not doing that. So needless to say, that didn't work.
Shock.
So what I've done, I've called out the exterminator, and he really is. He's looked at me. He's come out. He's got his little backpack on. Like a shit Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And he's not only he's not only double strapping it.
Yeah.
But he's got like 3 or 4
chest straps.
3 or 4 chest straps,
yeah.
like a belly strap and everything. This guy means business. And and he comes out and he's like, so what's the problem? I said, we've got wasps in the house. And he legitimately said, well, what have you let them in for? I said, don't fucking invite them.
Was he joking though?
I don't know. I was like, they're fucking armed. I didn't invite them in. They turned up, armed to the teeth. Started to move their family in,
harming me and my family.
But, no, that's why I've called you out. And he's like, okay, well, I'll sort it out. Just go in and shut the door. And then just stay in there for a bit because I'm going to spray them and they might get a bit angry. So I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. And I actually went up to my bedroom.
Where the wasps were.
Where the wasps were wasn't thinking they were up in the eaves. I saw they're dead, but otherwise I could see no evidence of there. So I'm in the bedroom, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I hear is a screech of tires. Like, this exterminator was not hanging around. Like, he'd sprayed this stuff and he had run like the wind, right? And he jumped in his van and just fucked right off.
It's
like,
already paid him.
Foot to the floor. Yeah, it's already paid and everything. So he was just like foot to the floor. He is like fucked off. I'm like, that's a bit weird. I wonder how angry they get. And then the drone starts rising like in the bedroom, and it's all these wasps, and they are fucking furious
because they're all dying, Kevin.
Well, you could argue rightly so.
Yeah.
But they came into my house uninvited.
Yeah.
Armed.
Yeah.
And uninvited. If you come at me, You get
You get the man.
you get
They're lucky they didn't meet the chainsaw.
Yeah, you get outmanned. You get out testosterone.
So did you get stung?
Right? No, because I also ran like the wind at the bedroom, and I've shut the door. I've shut the door of the bedroom, but I can still hear him. But my first instinct was then to run out of the house via the front door, which is exactly where he told me not to go. So I've now run from like the sound of angry wasps into a cloud of angry wasps. And instead of doing what you thought you might normally do, which is quick reverse back into the house.
Yeah, you just kept running.
I've complete panic. I've just started running.
So now you're just a crazy man running out of his house.
And my wife had, because she was out at the time, comes back to see me like sat down like some like hangdog, just like curled up on like the grass verge, like 200 yards down the road from our house. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "The wasps." The wasps. Like Lord of the Rings, like the drone. The drones. I heard them doing that. I heard the drones.
So did they leave?
He's like, "Get up, you dickhead." And they did leave. And funnily enough, there were no dead wasps turned up in the bedroom. No dead wasps turned up anywhere else. So effectively, unless they all just came flying out and pissed off, I imagine they are now currently decomposing in my roof space, where for sure they can remain.
How many wasps do you think there were, or you don't know?
I really don't know. They were exiting like outside. They were exiting from several places.
Fuck.
So it was a hefty.
Your house literally just got taken over by wasps.
Yeah, like the roof space was occupied by waspo.
That is a fantastic story, and we have now done over an hour.
Yeah, that's how I roll. I always go over time, you know that.
We've not. No, it's fine. But we've not talked once about comedy. So if people, usually this podcast is like, oh, what it's like to be a struggling comedian. Kevin Barry, fuck that shit. I'm going to tell you about wasp and queue etiquette.
Yeah. Well, I've always thought that, like, don't talk about how you're funny.
Yeah.
Be funny.
That's it.
Or not.
That is a message to future
your audience
guests.
can be the judge. You know.
If people want to follow your comedy career, where can they?
To begin with, just jump on Facebook. You can find me Kevin Berry Comedian on Facebook. Not tweeting right now.
Okay, that's good.
Never got onto the tweeting.
Neither did I.
Or anything else. Website should be going live shortly. Otherwise, up and around the northwest. Hot Water Club later on this week. It's Liverpool. So just keep an eye on Abby on Facebook. You know, it's no problem. Just make sure, because I'm always having to bounce these like what look like fake profiles. Like if you've only got 2 pictures on there and it says you work in Liverpool but your house is in Turkey, then I'm probably not going to add you. You know, just a thought.
Just don't be a weird cunt, basically.
Yeah. You know, if your profile's like legit, you know, and there's pictures of like actually you on there or whatever. So you know, but don't like send me weird pictures.
No, you don't need that. You're a father.
I know. And I had a this. I always go over time. So another story's coming now. Just keep rolling.
Tell it, man.
But you know, you were familiar with the concept of the gag hag or the chuckle bunny.
No.
The
Of the women that like comedians?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Right, so one of the, relatively sort of early on in my comedy, I was doing a show and I got a message on my Facebook page from a lady, assuming it was a lady, saying, I saw it the other night, it was really good, loved it, when can I see you again? Like, well, all my gigs are available on my Facebook page. You can just blah blah blah. Nice to hear from you, etc. You know, the fan thing. She responded, "No, I mean, when can I see you again? You know, go out for coffee or something like this." I was like, "No,
never.
Not really." I just sort of didn't respond to that. So she sent me another couple of written messages coming through. When can I meet? When can I see you? And you know, I really like you. Then it started getting a little bit more grubby. So she started writing about things that she would do to me. And then pictures started coming through.
No way!
Yeah, and these were,
rough.
These were rough.
Okay.
Right, these were rough. I mean, some of them didn't even have her face in the picture. It was just crotch shot. And all of this, I was like, oh man. I mean, at least it was, it probably was her because it was the same person, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
So, but if I'm analysing the birthmarks and stuff like that.
How long did you look at the pictures for as a married man?
Just long enough to establish that. But the thing is,
Did you tell your wife about this?
I did because it was funny. I also did because they weren't very good looking pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. If the woman had been like actually a hottie.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't have gone with her, but I might have kept that quiet from the missus.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's funnier if she's ugly.
Yeah. Just gross. But now here's where it becomes funny, stroke harrowing for me, is that about a week went by and I heard nothing came into my inbox from her, and then one arrived and it just said, I'm sorry, but I don't know where my head's at right now. It's not you, it's me, but I don't think we're going to be able to meet up for that coffee. I just don't think I'm that into you anymore. I was like, I've just been dumped.
You've been dumped by a stalker.
I've been dumped by this woman who the only thing I ever said to her was have a look on my site for when my next gigs are. She sent me all of these pictures and I've been dumped. But the thing is, emotionally,
it really hurt.
It actually cut me.
Why am I not good enough?
Yeah, why aren't I good enough for you to continue sending these disgusting pictures? I can't believe I've been dumped by this woman. What's up with that?
I think I know who it is, and we'll talk about it off air because I feel like she goes after everyone. But that's it.
No, it can't be her because I'm special.
Oh, right, okay. I'll show you the pictures that I've received. Thank you very much, Mr. Kevin Berry, and we will be back with another episode. I don't know who the fuck's going to be on, but it'll be exciting.
It'll be someone funny, I'm sure.
Thanks for making the effort, mate. I appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.